Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about my evidence tree. My name is Maria Jose Vidal Sanchez and I'm a student in Tech Milenio. So my evidence is composed by describing some terms, putting some events that are linked to these terms, and also answering some questions. So I hope you really understand this and enjoy my work. So here is the first term, globalization. So, what does it mean, globalization? Well, here is the answer. It's the connection of different parts of the world. Globalization results in the expansion of international, cultural, economic, and political activities. So, we're also showing some events that are linked to the globalization. In this case, the North American Free Trade Agreement is one of them. So, the United States commenced bilateral trade negotiations with Canada, and in 1991 bilateral talks began with Mexico, which Canada joined, and the NAFTA followed, entering into force on January 1 on 1994. And then the second one event that was on 1999 is that the euro as the only coin in some European countries. This currency was born with the purpose of strengthening the economic ties between the member countries of the Europe Union and to strengthen the signs of European identity. So here is our second term, that it's terrorism, and it is a form of violence used by a certain extremist organizations to instill terror in the population, usually for political, ideological, or religious purposes. Terrorism operates through different forms of physical violence or moral violence. Okay, so the events that I chose for terrorism are the September 11 attacks that happened on 2001, and it was caused because the Al Qaeda terrorists aboard three hijacked passengers plane and carried out coordinated suicide attacks against the World Trade Center in New York City and the Pentagon in Washington D.C. And the other one is the Paris attacks that happened on 2015, and 130 people died and over 350 were injured on Friday, 13 November of 2015. A group of at least 7 attackers launched a devastating series of coordinated shootings and explosions at 6 locations across Paris. So the third term we're talking about is unipolar world, that are international politics, that is a distribution of power in which one state exercises most of the cultural, economic, and military influence. Unipolar systems possess only one great power and face no competition. If a competitor emerges, the international system is no longer unipolar, it becomes bipolar. So the event that I found that it's linked to the unipolar world, it's the dissolution of the USSR that happened between 1990 and 1991. Well, in and it finished on December of 1999. The leaders of Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine signed a document whose main content it is included in its preamble, and it says, "The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics ceases to exist as a subject of international law and geopolitical reality." So the last term we're talking about it's digital era, and it means that this new digital era revolves around new technologies and the internet and is carrying out profound changes and transformations of a society that moves in a globalized world. The events that I chose for digital era were World Wide Web, and it is a system of linked hypertext documents accessible by internet using a program known as a browser. You can see pages that can contain text, images, continuous media such as videos or music, and almost any multimedia elements of today. And also I chose the Melissa virus that was really popular in 1999, and it was used from techniques of social engineering since it came with the message and it was sent it by email. In few days, it started in one of the most important cases of massive infection in history, causing damages of more than $80 million to American companies. Companies like Microsoft, Intel had to block their internet connections because of this action. So, to finish with this evidence, I'm going to answer some questions. So, first of all, why did the globalization emerge? Well, it emerged because to the combination of a set of factors, including the expansion of commercial relations as well as the dissemination of culture, values, and institutions from all around the world. Second one, in most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of 20th century? Well, I think they were caused by the misunderstoods between nations and the hunger of power and money. Third one, how does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar world? Well, it relates to the unipolarity because at the end of the war, we could see that USA was the only one left with enough power to exercise most of the cultural, economic, and military influence. And fourth one, how has the digital era influenced today's society? Well, it has influenced so much that it is indispensable in our lives. We use internet for mostly everything we do, like for job, school, fun activities, everything. Although there are some people who gave it a really bad use, but we may say that this has really changed our life for good.